What is up, y'all? Manny, Carrera, your real estate resource, and this is episode number 29 of Whiskey Wednesday podcast sessions, where we sit with entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers over a glass of some fine whiskey. Today, I'm going to be sitting with El Paso's very own Krystall Poppin and DS Jr., her manager. And cheers. First of all, thank you guys for coming on the show.
Cheers.
Thanks for stopping by. I know you guys are just in town for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're leaving tomorrow? Hopefully not hungover.
Oh, man.
So we're going to be kicking off this year's episode. This is our first episode of the year too, so congrats.
Nice.
2019. We're going to be kicking off, yeah, right? We're going to be kicking off this episode with 2 bottles. These are actually my office stash, so that's why they're not full. But this is Basil Hayton's Dark Rye. This is one of my favorites. And we have Texas whiskey. Diaz is drinking Texas. Krystall's been chugging the basil.
Yep.
And I'm also drinking some basil too. So again, thank you guys for being on the show. Really excited to have you guys on here.
Yeah, thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, for sure. I know you've been definitely stirring up a storm here in El Paso. I actually got introduced to you and your music when I first got back to El Paso through your page, seeing some videos too. So really excited to have you on. But let's start off with you kind of introducing yourself, and then you can introduce yourself as well. Tell us a little bit about what you do for the people that don't know who you are.
Well, my name is Krystall Poppin. I'm a rapper, and I'm currently traveling around America, networking, trying to meet people in the industry, and basically find a successful music career out there.
So fucking badass. We're gonna get into that journey. You're traveling right now across the Americas with our buddy right here, DS. So DS, tell the people who you are.
My name is DS Jr. I am Krystall Poppin's manager, and engineer, and graphic designer, and video editor, and
He's a man of all trades.
and RV driver.
And
Mostly
driver.
RV driver.
Call him for your RV Uber needs. They should start that line up.
If you guys need Uber,
RV.
Uber across the U.S. and somebody's
Uber
RV.
across the U.S.
That'd be smart.
Yeah.
That was smart. So, talk to me a little bit about that. We'll get into a little bit about the music in a second, but you're literally an artist right now, traveling across the U.S., networking, and you're taking a different approach, I think, from what I've heard other artists do that are trying to make it,
Yeah.
A lot of people just hit upload on SoundCloud and call
For
it a
sure.
day. So talk to us a little bit about the journey. What are you guys doing right now?
So, right now, well, the reason we started was because a year ago, we were those artists that were just clicking upload and that's it. And we're just like, see what happens. And I just didn't feel that we were doing everything we could. You know what I mean? Enough. And I felt like we were missing out on so much, like, people that we should be meeting. And I was just like, we gotta go out there. People need to meet us. And we need to shake hands of people who are gonna open these doors. And not just hope that someone on the internet's gonna find me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which can happen.
It can, definitely. It happens all the time, every single day.
You can also win the lottery.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what he always says. Like, you can also win the lottery. But
That's true.
me and DS were just like, you know what? We're gonna take control of our own destiny, and we're gonna go get it. So we decided to sell all of our belongings, most of our belongings, basically.
So badass.
And we threw whatever we had left in this RV that we called the Honey Whip. And
follow the Honey Whip.
And follow the Honey
Instagram.
Whip. And and we've been traveling around, going to specific cities that we feel have sort of a scene, you know what I mean?
Right.
A music scene to follow, something to get into. And we've just kind of like started from the bottom and work our way up, kind of like dig around, trying to see what's going on. And it's been pretty successful so far. And I think that this year's going to be really big for us.
That's awesome. Talk to me about some of those connections that you've made this year.
Well, some of the connections, a lot of them started in Atlanta. We showed up in Atlanta and we started trying to find the local scene, which we did. And we found this really awesome group of people that were basically doing shows. There's shows every day out there. Like, it doesn't matter what day it is. It could be a Sunday, it could be a Tuesday. Like, there's shows every day. So I just started like, hey, how can I get on a show? Oh, what can I do? and I started doing shows, and through these shows, there's always people that attend these shows.
Right.
And I started meeting people that had more connections. Oh, you should do this, meet this person. And it just kind of like spiraled into this bigger thing. And at the end of the time that we were there in Atlanta, I ended up performing at the biggest festival that they have there called A3C.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's like an ACL. That's like a.
Yeah, it's basically like the South by of Atlanta. It's like
Wow.
a week-long thing. There's conferences. There's like like any famous person that like has connections to Atlanta or anybody out there making moves. They're there. They're A3C, the conferences.
That's badass.
I met a bunch of people out there, and then I ended up doing a show, and it was great. Like I couldn't believe it, honestly. Like while it was happening, I was just like, this is really like.
This all came from
down.
selling some shit and getting
it's all like,
taking an adventure, right?
Exactly.
That's cool.
And just kind of like just deciding like I'm gonna take charge of this. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm gonna take it there. So
That's really cool that you say that, because I think at the end of the day, everyone has huge dreams and goals, and 98% of people are super unhappy because they're not doing those things.
yeah.
And just off of what you told me, you really just put all in, you know, like you went all in and went after it. But that's really cool, because I personally think that that's when the greatest things happen. Like that's when you start to build momentum, because not only are you going all in, but I think that also puts out that energy, and that energy does return, you know, like
Definitely.
it starts to build some momentum. So
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
that's really cool.
And this all of 2018 basically is. I've been doing music. I want to say since 2014, and 2018 was the year that I feel like I did the most.
Out of all the years.
Out of all the years that I've been doing it.
That's
and
awesome.
Learned the most for sure. And it's not always easy, you know, it's definitely ups and downs.
Right.
And living, you know, picture that, like you're living in an RV.
So describe to me, what is that like?
It's crazy. Like first of all, you got to get used to the smallest space. You know what I mean? Like
the smell?
Oh yeah, you get used to the smell.
What smell? It's
What
not even
smell?
there anymore.
When we started the journey, it was me, Daniel, and our dog, and Daniel's brother to help us out with like shooting a little bit in the beginning. So all of us were living in this RV, and it was kind of crazy. It was a little hectic. We were still like trying to like figure it out. You know, we're just like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're figuring it out. We're here. Like we showed up. You know what I mean? Like what do we got to do? And then like tires would go flat, and then like restroom, like when the winter started, like the restrooms froze. You know what I mean?
The
like,
piping?
Yes, the piping froze.
Shit.
You don't always have access to hot water. Like there's these things that you don't realize that we take for granted when we live in a house, that are simple. You know what I mean? Just having running water. Sometimes we don't have running water because we don't have access to fill the tanks with water. You know what I mean? So it's these little things that
it's work.
Like it's definitely work. Every single day is a challenge. But when we started this journey, we understood like, hey, we're gonna be tested, but we're gonna get through it. You know, and we're not gonna quit. And I'm telling you, like I've been in tears in 2018 before. He's been to like the brink of like blowing up before, but we never give up. And we always say like, we're gonna get through it, and I got your back, and you got my back. We're not gonna stop.
That's badass. I'm getting goosebumps. No, that's real. I think that's really cool for one, not only to you, for both of you guys to have the kind of same mentality and same dedication, determination, and belief that you are gonna make it through and everything.
Yeah.
Like that takes a lot in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, but for you guys to have that hunger, like I really am fucking excited for you.
Thank
That's
you.
really cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what is so important about networking? Because that's what you've been doing all year. That's how you're really starting to blow and getting this momentum up, right?
Yeah, definitely.
RV living's tough, but how tough is it to really get your name out there?
It really depends on how much you're willing to put yourself out there, because you can be in a room full of executives, and if you don't go up to people and tell them who you are, or shake their hands, and in the correct way as well, like no one wants you shoving like flyers in their hands. You know, at the same time, you have to be, you know, you want to. I've learned that people in the industry also want you to treat them like people. You know what I mean? Even if you feel like, oh, this person is like so much better than me, like you should just feel like this is a person, and they want to be treated like a person, and that's definitely my approach. You know what I mean? So they're meeting all these people that are like, here's my flyer, here's my card, and I'm just kind of like, hey, what's up? Like, you having a good night? You know what I mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. And then they end up asking me who I am. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because I'm like, kind of like...
You're taking a different approach.
Exactly. And then that turns into, oh, you know what? Like, then I'll give them my card or something like that. You know, it's just a different perspective. And then...
I think it's also what you're doing is kind of letting people know that you're a real person too. You're not
a billboard.
You're not just a rapper. You know, you're also Krystall behind the brand. So that's cool. Yeah. That's really cool to take that approach. What are some of the cities that you've been to? What are some of your favorite cities?
The cities that I have been to that I hadn't ever been to was New Orleans, Atlanta, and Nashville so far on the journey, because we also hit like Dallas and a bunch of little cities on the way, which were cool, but those are definitely my favorite: Nashville, Atlanta, and New Orleans. Right. New Orleans is real funky, crazy. Like, it's fun. Yeah. And
it looks fun.
It's fun.
I've never been there either, but it looks fun.
Yeah, and we met a bunch of crazy artists. Like, they weren't musicians; they were just like artists, and they're really cool. So that was a cool scene to discover. But Atlanta is my favorite as far as like when I want to make moves, like when I want stuff to happen, like do shows and stuff like that. Definitely Atlanta.
Well, I mean, just in the industry itself, there's a lot of big names coming from Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
there's been for the last
right now,
for the last like 10 years, I think. It's been crazy.
Atlanta's a big like hub for music, absolutely. Like one of the biggest cities right now for sure. And I had never been there. Like when we showed up, that was my first time ever, and I had no idea what to expect. And it's definitely one of my favorite cities.
Yeah, that's cool. So what is it like for you to go to a city that you're unfamiliar with and get these gigs to book? I mean, booking these gigs and things like that. But what is it like? Like, how did the audience react? Is there a different reaction? Are you bringing some taste that they've never seen because we're from El Paso?
Like you've seen it. Like, people don't expect what I do on stage, because like my very first show in Atlanta, the guy he called me up. You know, there was a bunch of people performing that day, so he would call them up and they'd go up and perform. So when he called me up, like I went and I was about to take the mic from him, and he's like, "Do you need a mic stand?" And I was like, I don't need a mic stand. Like, he was expecting me to sing R&B or something, you know what I mean? And that's a reaction I get a lot before I even open my mouth. Like, people think I'm gonna sing or something. And then I go out there and I just like do these raps, and then I really get into it, you know what I mean? Like I really delivered. And everyone at first, like, no one knows what to do. When they see me, they're just like...
They're trying to soak it in.
Yeah, everyone tries to soak it in.
What is this guy doing? What is it? Okay?
Yeah.
Which actually kind of sucks, because I noticed that, like, they're so thrown off by the fact that you're rapping that I don't feel like they actually listen to the song.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping that they like the song, and I'm like, they're not paying attention to the song. They're paying attention to, like, this chick is rapping.
Is she rapping right now? Like, and then I'll rap fast, you know? Like, I have some raps I rap fast. And people are just like, what? And it's not until like the end of my set that people are like, okay, like all right, and that's when they start moving. And it happens. It's happened a lot already. Like that's usually the thing. But I really think it's cool that that's the reaction, because it makes me feel like I'm bringing something different. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's really cool. And it doesn't it also feel good to kind of come from a different place and be accepted and get your music accepted.
Oh yeah, that was a big fear I had, honestly. I was just like, I don't know if they're gonna, accept me just because I'm not from here, or like, or anything like that. And like they genuinely, like, after I performed my first show, like the love was insane. Like I had never experienced that. Like, cool. Like guys, like mostly rappers, you know what I mean? Like, we're just like, yo, like that was dope. Like, and then that's when the networking starts going, like with the local scene. Like after you perform, you're just like getting everyone's Instagrams and all this, and you start like linking with a bunch of people. So like it's really cool.
Obviously, like 80% of that is just a bunch of nobodies that just started as well. Right. And then there'll be like the 4 or 5 that are like deep in the game, and then there'll be like one sometime
very connected.
That's very connected and can actually like make things happen. You know what I mean? And that's always
that's really what it's all about, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's really about finding that needle in the haystack, and you never know who's listening, and that's why it's really important to hit all those different avenues too.
Definitely.
And then we ran into like scam type of situations where they tell you like, oh, this A&R or this manager from this big label is going to be at the showcase.
Oh yeah.
So we pay to perform, and we're like, freaking somebody's manager is in this room watching us, and then sometimes they're not. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, okay, they did this whole show promoting this big manager, and he's not even there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like they're selling like false hopes, kind of. But,
there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk for sure. Just be, like
and
being
investing
out there.
too, right? You're
Yeah.
investing.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
like
crazy. So what does it take to get into these events? I mean, some of them are paid, some of them aren't paid, some of them you have to pay.
Yeah. It's all around. It's really just you starting. I like what we did basically was started to find the local scene. So before I even did a show, I started like finding people who were rappers, musicians, just kind of looking up on Instagram, you know, like Atlanta rappers, Atlanta perform like shows and stuff like that, open mics. That's how we started, and then from those connections sprouted like the ones that kind of like were going in the direction that we wanted to go into.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's really cool.
just kind of like planting your seeds everywhere.
Yeah. No, that I think you need to do that, and that's really cool. So walk me through. I mean, what got you into making music? What are some things that inspired you? What made you decide one day I'm gonna be a rapper?
I grew up always in love with music. Like before I even knew I wanted to make music, like I just loved listening to music, and I was all into all kinds of music, like not even just hip hop, like rock, like old school music, oldies, you know,
Right.
living in Paso, my parents every Sunday, was just like, I know.
Was that park? Ascarate
Park, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've listened to a bunch of different music, and I love a bunch of different music as well. And through that, like I always felt that when I was younger, I was like shy, and I always felt like songs said the things that I couldn't say. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
You're like, damn, I wish I could say that.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, like it would touch me in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I started writing like poetry, like, you know what I mean, kind of like putting my feelings down on paper. And then one day, I went to this party, and there was like a cipher circle going on, and people were like rapping and stuff. It was a bunch of guys mostly, and then you know, I was feeling a little good. It was a little tipsy and stuff. And then when I felt a little tipsy, then I would like to jump in these circles. So it was this specific
like my
party.
turn. This is my chance.
So I'm like, all right. So I jump in and I do this little verse, right? And then whatever was like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Everyone laughed and stuff. And then after like I walked away, then this guy came up to me and he's like, hey, do you rap? And I was just like, no man, I just, you know, like I just write some stuff sometimes, that's it. And then he was like, yo, like I have a group that raps. We don't have a girl, like it would be really cool if we could record you. And I was just like, okay, like I was just like, yeah, you know what I mean, okay. And then he was just like, let's link. So then we ended up linking up, and they brought all of their studio equipment to my house. You know, it was like all portable and stuff. And we ended up recording my very first song in my bedroom. Like they made the beat there and everything. And then as soon as I recorded, it was a little awkward and stuff. As soon as I heard my voice back on the beat, it was game over. Like
you liked it?
I fell in love with it at that moment, and I've never stopped ever since that moment.
That's badass.
Yeah, and
So what was your first song about?
It was called, it's not out, so you can't find it anywhere.
Link will be posted.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Hit me for the link.
No, we'll find it. We'll find it.
Oh man, it's called Talk of the Town, and I was basically talking about how like girls that I knew at the time, like around the city and stuff like that, were like really easy, you know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like, I don't mess with that.
No.
This guy.
That's a girl's on
That's what basically it was. It was just kind of like, there's a bunch of easy girls out there. I'm not easy. I don't mess with that. And I can rap. Basically, that's what the song was about.
That's cool. And give us a line or two.
It goes. I can't cuss.
Yeah, you could cuss.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck.
They go the hook went something like bitch, I ain't even worried about it. Damn hoe, keep my shit real like you already know. Chicks they keep playing, but on top of my game, something. I'm a breed you can't tame, or something like that.
That's cool.
I mean, I wrote that right there and there that night too. So I mean, it was fun. It was so fun. Like,
so you had fun with it.
I had super fun with it for
That's
sure.
Cool.
And then everything, like ever since that night and forward, I just started realizing like this is like something I want to do, because before that I was like going to college, changing my major all the time, and I was just like freaking out because I like didn't know what I wanted to do. Nothing interested me, and I was just like, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? And like as soon as I found music, like I just wanted to drop everything.
You figured it out.
Yeah, it was like boom, like light bulb and stuff, and it started getting really serious. And after a while, I started meeting other people in the city that were also making music and like working out of bigger studios, and like they were kind of on their more business side, and eventually working with people that were more serious about it. Junior, and he ended up recording my first song that turned into a video, and he started managing me shortly after that. Like at first he was just helping me out. Like it wasn't even like I'm gonna be your manager, you're the greatest. Like it wasn't even like that. It was just like oh, you should probably hit these people up for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
You know, because I'll be like, oh, what do you think of this? Or you know what I mean? And and then eventually it was like, yo, let's do this. Yeah.
So at what point, DS, where did you feel like this is something that you want to go all in behind, be a manager, and help her get to that next level?
There was a lot of things really that happened. For example, initially, she was kind of being like mentored by one of my best friends, and he had to move from El Paso. His name is Kaz. He's in Dallas now. So when he moved to Dallas, shout out to Kaz.
Yeah. That was my first producer. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when he was moving, he was like, "Hey, I've been working with this girl. She's really good, but I have to move, and you think you could just help her out and with whatever she needs, you know what I mean?" I wasn't in El Paso either, but obviously I was more in the scene, like with as far as like doing work and stuff in the city. So I was like, yeah, I'll see what's up. So I showed up to El Paso, and then that's when I met her. And then I think we had already talked because she had asked me like, I need photos, who can take my photos, and I like told her.
Tag somebody.
Yeah.
And he sent me to some crazy person the first time. I was like, what? I know you know some real photographers, man. I know he's sending me to these people.
Just lay down if you want.
Yeah. Take out clothes. No, so like, there's creepy photographers. Watch out for those.
Yeah.
No, anyway, I was like, she's starting out, so I'm gonna send her to some photographers that are starting out. You know what I mean? Like, so they can, give each other experience. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
So anyway,
oh man.
But like the real goal was like send her photographers that are down to do it for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, we'll do it for free. And so, dude, hey, I sent her.
Some guy with an iPhone.
I'm not gonna say who it was, but I sent her to like the dudes that were like, I thought, they're just starting out, they'll do it for free, and I think they were trying to charge her, so I was like, no, forget those guys. So,
creepy and expensive.
Yeah, so anyway,
no, this is not it.
We started working at that point because we recorded a song, it was a cool song, and then I was already working with my video team, like my guys, so we were like, all right, we're gonna shoot this video for Krystall. We shot the video, and I was impressed at the amount of love and support that she had already just as an individual. Like she had like hella friends, and we threw like the biggest house party, and we were like,
how do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember you guys posting that a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago, no?
For Supernova, no, it was like 3.
3. Okay, I wasn't in Paso yet, but I remember seeing it on your page.
Yeah, it's for my song Supernova.
Yeah, I remember that song. That's the first song I heard.
Yeah. That was the first time like El Paso really like saw who I was. You know what I mean?
So that's the first time you kind of went public.
Yes, for sure. That, and I start like when people say like how long you've been doing music, I mark that like when I started, because that's the first time that I feel that was the like out of a studio, I recorded that song. Everything else was like bedroom stuff. And then the first big video I made with the actual crew and like LFDC, they did that video. You know what I mean? It was like for real.
Crew,
like I'm taking it serious.
Yeah, that's badass.
And that's one of the things that's been cool is that like our team from the beginning, we've been able to just like stay together. You know what I mean? And grow together. And
you guys are doing so it's
LFDC,
right?
Yeah.
And what do you guys do as far as what kind of projects do you do? Because you guys do some professional grade shit.
Yeah, dude. Danny Perella, he's the one. He's a beast, man.
Danny's good.
Danny's a beast. I love that guy.
Yeah, we started out like at first the LFDC thing. It was like Danny with the camera, and then Mikey cloud rapping, and then me and Toby joined in because they were homies. You know what I mean? And we just started working together. But I do so much like on the management side, and then I moved away from El Paso, and then from producing and doing the marketing stuff. It's hectic. Like there's a lot of sides to take care of, and I was really happy that they really found a passion with the cameras. So they've been able to just like they stayed consistent with the photography and videos, and it was cool for me because as I'm away doing my own work and my own stuff and my own moves, they were just getting better and better and better. Yeah. And every time we come back to the city, it'd be like we'd be doing crazy stuff, you know what I mean? And then they started working up their networks, and now like LFDC is like a household name as far as media, you know what I mean? I love it, and that we're all like best friends. So it's just been dope because as we grow as artists in the music, they're growing and on the media side, and I'm just kind of like right in between.
You guys are kind of growing together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For sure.
So it's been really cool. But ever since then, we started working together on the music stuff, and it was like, okay, we'll do one more project, we'll do another project, and everything was just working so well that my belief was like, it was never like damn, she's dope, I need to work with her. It just grew into that, and all of a sudden, like I realized I was spending most of my time working with her projects, and
because I was doing a lot,
yeah,
like I needed his help a lot. It was kind of like, okay, like Supernova happened, like people are hitting me up, like I'm doing shows, and things are just kind of like hectic. So
what was that reaction like?
It was like I didn't.
You released Supernova. Now it's like people are now gonna know that I'm a rapper.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I didn't expect it for sure. Like I didn't know that it was gonna go the way it did, and like people were showing me love, and I think it's because people always ask me like, do you write your own raps? And I'm like, yes. Like, and anyone can tell you, even people that I used to work with that don't like I don't talk to anymore. Like even they say like, well, yeah, she writes her own raps. Like no one can say that I don't. And I work hard, you know what I mean? Like this is something that I take seriously. This is something that I want my life to become, you know what I mean? So I really feel like
it's just a hobby, it's a job.
No, it's a job, definitely. Like it's a business, and that's what me and DS realized. It's like I am the product. It's a business, and we treat it as such, you know what I mean? Being out there. In the very beginning, like it was super like I was really like, oh, like I don't know, like super I say like shy about certain things or nervous to like put myself out there. And now I'm just like, let's just go get it, like boom, like this, like things go in steps, and things are just gonna get better and better, like the more that you put into it, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And one of the things that was the best thing about working with her is that I just simultaneously was seeing how dedicated she was. Like she was about it, and I told her like, okay, if you want to do this, it's gonna cost this much. You save up the money. She hit me up like, yeah, I got the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or she'll be like, and then at some point I was like, okay, look, if you want to do this for real, we need to do this full time. You know what I mean? So I was gonna adjust. I was gonna make some life adjustments. She was gonna make some life adjustments so that we can work on music full time. So then that's when I told her, save up a couple of G's so you can move to Vegas. And we moved to Vegas, and then ever since then it's been like full time. Like we just whatever we can do is what we're doing. Yeah.
That's badass. That's what you need to do. I think if you're gonna make it and anything, you have to dedicate 110% of your time, energy, live it, breathe it.
Yeah.
You know, because you never hear a rapper just saying, "Oh yeah, well, just rapped and some guy heard me and I was just like, oh, I'll see where it goes, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm still working part-time.
And it does happen, like you're
It
right.
does, yeah.
But not all the time.
Yeah.
And we're not expecting that either.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you can wait around and see if that happens, or you can make moves while that happens. You know what I mean? Like just increase. I feel like it's all about increasing your chances. Like there's a chance you can get found on the internet, or there's a chance you can get found in some random freaking Detroit, Michigan, or something like that.
Yeah.
You'll meet the right person, but you never know where you're gonna find that opportunity that's gonna take you to the next. Like we've been in Nashville recently, and we've been finding like an insane amount of dope people in the industry that just like have been very, very helpful to us.
Yeah.
We've been meeting like lawyers and booking agents, you know, producers, engineers, and it's just kind of like, man, like Nashville's cool because
it's more industry based.
Yeah, they call it the music city, and it's so dope because you go to Nashville and everybody is a musician or is on the business side of music or is a songwriter. Like everybody is into it, and it's so dope. You know what I mean?
That's badass.
Yeah.
So you feed off that energy too.
For sure, it's like a different game out there. You know what I mean? Like that's when you realize like, oh, like I need that. Being on the road this year for sure has made me open my eyes to the fact that this is a business. You know, like in Nashville, meeting people that are in the business, people like the booking agents. We're working with Alexander King out there. He's really well known in Tennessee out there, and he's done stuff like really close with Yellow Wolf, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And the stuff is just kind of like, you know, you like, oh, I'm gonna stand up a little straighter now. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna look a little fresher now. I'm like, it's serious. You know? Like.
Yeah, and it is serious. When you're in Nashville and you start dealing with all these people that are rich off music, that's when it's kind of like it gives it a whole another different level of perspective. You know what I mean? Because when you're here, you're just like wishing upon a star, recording on the laptop and working at McDonald's. You know what I mean, or something like that. But when you're in these environments where you're around all these rich people and you're in these mansions and you know that it's all music money, it kind of makes it possible. It makes it possible, and it gives you a whole different type of motivation. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's crazy, and you want to really surround yourself around those type of people and keep the goals and like, you know what I mean, put them forward and keep going. It's crazy. It's been crazy being out there for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think on top of, you know, just going all in, you also have to have that consistency that we were talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Because consistency is one thing, and a lot of people do say they're gonna do something, you know. And they end up dying out. I think a lot of people can't handle rejection, failure, and the struggle, because a lot of people don't have patience, and a lot of people also don't set the right expectations to the work that's needed to put in for the goal. You know, a lot of people think, I'm gonna make it this way, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make $1 million, but are watching Netflix all fucking day and chilling, and you know, like not really making those moves to do it. So I think the expectation when it comes down to work has to match the goal. Yeah, and for sure. It sounds like it is for you guys. So that's
it's really just like I feel like everything has a big learning curve, like a huge learning curve, and everybody sees like the glamour and the end result of hard work,
of success.
But when you know, like, oh, you know, I'm gonna do this, and then when they start doing it, they start to realize, oh damn!
This is not fun.
This is not fun. This is not fun.
Not having water is not fun.
It's not fun.
And you guys have run into that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
and I remember telling you, I remember being in the RV one day and we were like eating ramen and stuff, and I was like, yo, I see why people quit. I get it. Like, cause before I was just like, you know, like I'm never gonna quit. Yeah. I was just like, yo, like. This is when people quit, right here.
Yeah. Like,
right?
This sucks. There's been multiple situations where like this is why people quit. Like this sucks.
That's crazy that you can have that awareness to the situation and the now, the present. Like, oh shit, this sucks. But instead of oh fuck, and then your whole world just spiraling, it's like oh shit, this sucks. This is one of those moments that suck.
Yeah, you know,
labeling it, and just kind of separating yourself from that moment, not getting lost in the moment.
We have to do that a lot, like almost on the daily, and be like, you know what, this is what we signed up for, and one day when we are hopefully where we want to be, this will be why, because we went through this. You know what I mean? And it like, and if it's not like stuff that's going wrong because of chance, like, you know, a flat tire or something broke or something went wrong, it's like, oh, we're broke, we don't have money to eat. Like, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? So now we're freaking eating water. So
I see. I follow my boy Mike, and he I don't know what this is about. Maybe you could give me some insight. But he tagged you the other day at the gas station, and he's like, "I'm going in for a DS lunch or something." It was a hot dog.
No. Okay, so yeah. So check this out. Usually, so when we hit Atlanta,
so cool.
Like I'll go specific with this one. Like when we hit Atlanta, we were doing all these showcases, and most of them charge money. You know what I mean? So, dude, I ran through money so fast in Atlanta, just getting out there trying to meet people. And then, so we'd do a showcase, and after the showcase, we'd want to go eat.
Because we didn't eat all day.
Yeah, because we wouldn't eat all day, and then you know, if I had like $5, I'd be like, you know, gas station hot dogs. You know what I mean? So
how many of us is it? 1, 2.
Yeah.
So
$5 less.
no, yeah, we go to the gas station
To the QT.
To QT.
By the way,
QT.
that actually
Quick
have
time, no?
yes,
Quick time.
that
Quick
actually have dope hot dogs. You know what I mean? I was like, we started going there all the time to eat dinner really late at night after a show and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, this is not
She
that
don't like
bad.
hot dogs,
And I don't like hot dogs. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, this is not that bad. I could do this. And they
So,
were cheap.
yeah.
So and then I was like, you know what? We need to show people what we're eating.
Yeah.
So I would just like, after every show, I'd be like, guess what time it is? And then I'd show the hot dog, and then I started showing how I made it, and like all this stuff.
With everything.
With
Yeah.
everything,
She has crazy hot
everything. I
dogs.
get crazy
Crazy.
with it. He keeps it a little more simple, for sure. But I like stack it up.
She
And then
does.
people, after a while, they were just like, hey, like I'm doing a Krystall Poppin dinner, like whatever.
Yeah.
They would tag me, and they'd go to the gas station and make a hot dog, and then like
And then
it
my
turned into this whole
brother called me
thing.
one time. He's like, "Hey, did KP perform already?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, she just performed last night." He's like, "Man, I really want to go see your show and then eat hot dogs with you." So it's like for our followers, it became a thing where they knew that after a show we eat hot dogs. You know what I mean? And then.
So like, we were kind of
yeah.
having fun with like our situation
Yeah.
because it's part of the journey. Like
Part of the
this is what we-
struggle.
Yeah, it's part of
Jay
the
Cole
struggle.
says beauty in the struggle. I think that's
Yeah,
part of
sure.
that, you know. Like,
Definitely.
being able to look back and say, well, fucking,
And
I'll
we-
still
we
eat some
get-
hot dogs.
I'll still eat a hot dog, man.
We get
Take
sick
me
Give me a
to
hot dog.
We get tired of them, but then it's like when we're driving home and we're low on funds and you know it's 2 a.m. It's like, you know, gas station hot dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
That's cool.
but we started doing that and it's just kind of like a funny thing now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
our
that's
friends-
Yeah, I saw Mike post of it.
Shout out to
Ask them
Mikey.
what this is. What is this hot dog thing?
Yeah,
Funny,
That's
man.
cool.
we've been doing.
So, obviously, you've been making some big moves and networking all across the country. Talk to me a little bit about the El Paso music industry. What is the music industry like here in the city?
Well, from what I've experienced, it's still like growing, but it's definitely bigger than when I first left to Vegas. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that fact because before it was a little more like individualized. Like people were like doing their own thing and like, you know, like
little things.
And now it's like people are working together more, collaborating, helping each other. Like, and then there's more people on the scene doing different things for the scene, such as like videographers or like graphic designers. So like then the people
It's a crazy
are starting,
world we're in now, huh?
It is like El
It's
Paso.
like fucking insane.
It's like a totally different scene, and it's more welcoming, and it's more artistic, and better art is coming out, better music is coming out, and I love it. Like it's so dope, and I like it makes me proud because I really see, especially from afar, the fact that we're out there and then coming back and seeing what it's becoming. It's like it's so exciting because it's like, yo, like El Paso's about to be like a scene, you know, in Texas, like a place to go
for sure,
for music, for
and
sure.
also I'm really appreciative of the shift in the actual music that's been happening because also back then it was like all hip hop was like cholos and thugs, you know what I mean?
Right.
And when you do a hip hop show and it's gonna be nothing but cholos and thugs and it's a scary scene, you know what I mean? For girls, for example, like girls don't want to go to a rap show because it's gonna be a bunch of cholos and there's gonna be fights, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really limits the possibility of expansion, and now that like I feel like music, hip hop specifically, is a lot more playful.
I'm trying that.
And then the product placement.
Product placement.
Yeah.
Texas whiskey. What's up?
Right? I'm gonna turn this stupid alarm off.
But yeah, so the El Paso scene, I definitely see it growing and it's getting better, and it's gonna be a force to be reckoned with in a couple years.
Yeah,
sure.
so like all the new artists that are emerging are just on a happier, lighter, more colorful vibe.
Yeah.
That's more inviting, and I feel like the success of other artists that have been coming out of El Paso, and it's feel like this last year, a bunch of El Paso celebrities like everywhere.
Yeah, right.
And it's really
Khalid is one that's been
Khalid, dude, is
a
like,
lot of noise in El Paso. For
it was just like I would say that's one of the lottery situations where it was just like 1 in like 10 million, and it just. Like,
and that guy just didn't make it. He like.
Made it.
He's like, he made it. Oh, you rich. Oh, you rich.
And the reason why I gotta say that is because like I feel like because of Khalid, now all the local artists are like, yeah, I'm next. And I'm like,
it's more possible.
Yeah, it's more possible. But
just like what you were talking about having to go 3 years ago. I mean, well, since it's beginning of the year, trying to see that and feel that and know that, hey, this guy made it.
Yeah. It makes it like the fact that he's repping El Paso, like it makes El Paso people feel like I could do that. When before, like it was kind of like, oh well, people in Atlanta do it, people in New York, LA. Okay,
but no false hope though, because it's hard, and not everybody has the voice of an angel like Khalid. You gotta work a little harder.
He's an angel. Yeah, but I think what it's also done for the people living in El Paso to raise that awareness, love, and appreciation for the city.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, 5 years ago, you've been in the music scene for a long time. Because I actually used to do music too.
Really?
Way back then. Yeah, that's how we met.
Singer or rapper?
Yeah, I used to. Huh?
Singer or rapper?
A rapper.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to. Me and my cousin, we used to work with Bebop. I don't know if you met.
I've heard Bebop. Yeah.
So and then.
Hey, we sing that on the daily when we're at the office at work.
Yeah, it's catchy. You know hot dog?
Why'd you take that on YouTube?
You didn't know hot dog? I'm gonna make a KP hot dog place in El Paso.
Throw one at Ditzy. Give it Dicky.
Oh yeah.
Like Dicky,
we saw Dicky
make a KP hot dog space.
Yeah, there you
sure.
go. Dicky, shout out Dicky.
Shout out to Dicky, man. He's always showing love. Like he's always showing love.
Running the city's nightlife.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's it's funny. So, music scene has been growing here in El Paso, and that awareness too. I think people are just super in love with the city. It's such a cool city. I think it's really cool, especially if you are from here. We were talking a little bit about this before, but having to actually leave El Paso to really appreciate the city, get that perspective is totally different. I think that's why a lot of people that go out of town end up coming back, even if it's 5 years, 10 years. Because there's no place like El Paso,
no place
in my
like
opinion.
El Paso, man. Especially like seeing what's out there, there is no place like El Paso, for sure. Just like El Paso is its own thing. And I feel like maybe it's because like we're not that close to another big city, you know what I mean? Like it's a couple hours, anyway.
We're still pretty close.
We're still close, but it's not like next door neighbors, you know what I mean? And I think because of that, El Paso it was able to develop its own flavor, you know what I mean? And I don't get that flavor anywhere else.
Yeah.
Whether it's the music, whether it's the food, the people, the nightlife, the partying, like the people able to party, like
a little bit of everything.
There's a little bit of everything, man, and it's just.
But
especially the food.
I'm excited.
Food. There's no as soon as you leave Texas, like the Mexican food is.
All the cravings start kicking in, huh? It's
like,
you're off drugs and you're like, all of a sudden I'm craving Chicos.
Man, I want Whataburger.
And they're like, why do I want Chicos? I never even liked that Chicos.
Right? You're just like, I'm borrowing. I can't get Chicos right now. I love it.
It's crazy.
Nah, but I love the direction that the city's taking overall.
Sure.
Like it's just a lot more artistic, a lot more support, a lot more love, and the city's just growing overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like when I saw you were doing real estate, I was like, dude, hell yeah, because there's like so much work in any type of like industry in the city. Like it's just growing so much. Like I would love to come back to El Paso to start a business too. You know what I mean? So, I love it, dude. Like I think it's so dope.
Yeah, El Paso's badass, man, and that's really why I came too. Because honestly, and it's crazy because kind of what you're talking about too. I think it runs no matter what you're doing in any industry, whether it's music, real estate, it doesn't matter, but it really does take a certain level of dedication to make shit happen. Like, I've been a realtor for about 2 years, or going on 2 years, and you hear people all the time getting the real estate license, but just like we talked about, not a lot of people see it through.
Right.
Not a lot of people make it, and it really comes down to that level of understanding how much work it really takes, you know. That's what I noticed too in real estate. It's like,
yeah, like once you find yourself in the mess, like I'll just call it like the quicksand, you know, or the mud. Like once you're in the mud, you realize like, oh damn, like I wasn't expecting this. I want to go back. But once you're in the middle, it's kind of like, bro, it's gonna take you the same distance to get
I don't think you could ever go back.
Yeah.
This one's good.
Damn,
oh, you just tasted like some vanilla right now.
I need to taste that one now.
It's totally different.
Yeah, that's what I'm making the Texas ones.
Right.
It does taste like vanilla.
Yeah.
Cheers. So somebody
Cheers.
said rap battle. Rap battle? Who's gonna rap battle me? Manny, D, you guys should rap battle.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
I didn't know we were live.
Rap battle.
Krystall's gonna do a little rap right now for the camera.
Oh snap! You first.
No.
Yeah,
I hung up my towel. I hung up the mic. So it's not in real
I thought he was already
estate.
rapping.
No, but thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Usually you don't have like artists or like music people. So.
No, and that's what really the show's all about, is networking with entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers. People doing things here in the city, things for the city, things giving value to the city. I personally, I think there's so much happening in the city that's why I started doing this podcast, to really kind of shine light on those people, you know?
That's great, man.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about who are your fan base right now? Like, who's listening to you? What are your fans like?
I think right now I'm hitting a lot of people. I'm mostly like Atlanta and El Paso, for sure. Females, I'm meeting a lot of like younger girls that are like, oh man, because not only do I like rap fast, you know what I mean, or just like rap and do like bops and stuff, but I also can touch on like the more feminine like tones and stuff. Like I sing about like love sometimes and stuff like that, and like I've noticed that like females are like, oh man, like that, I really related to that song, and girls are mostly the ones that are DMing me that are like talking to me about my music, like oh, I love that song Donuts and Blunts, I love your song June 25th. Those are my like more softer stuff, and I love that. I love like the female energy that is like coming to me, because there's a certain type of female rapper that talks about like really like vulgar things, and I try to just keep it like a little more fresh, a little more, you know, real, a little more like fun and other things like that, you know, like for girls that don't want to like bump like about their body parts. I kind of give them all different topics or different subjects that they can personally relate to. So I do definitely feel like females are the ones that are like kind of like raising me up right now.
That's cool. Sure. That's really cool. Who are some artists that you would love to collab with? Oh,
for sure, 100%. Like if I could have him right here right now, it'd be Kendrick Lamar, number 1. Number 2 would be A$AP Rocky. Number 3 would be Tyler, Creator. And then, I mean, okay, I'm gonna say this. A lot of people are gonna give me like heat for this, but I don't care because I love her. I freaking love her. I want her to be my little sister. Bad Baby. I love Bad Baby.
Oh, yeah?
She is so cool. Like, she reminds me of someone that just like, she saw what she wanted and she went for it, and she's getting it. You know what I mean? Like she did it. She could have just been a meme and forgotten about, and she didn't let that happen. You know what I mean? And she's a boss like for that. So props to Bad Baby. I want to collaborate with you, Bad Baby.
I can't picture the Tyler the Creator. I still can't picture.
Dude, I could have the thing about Tyler is before I was even rapping, I bumping him. He was like one of my favorite rappers. And then when I got into the game, like I would study him because I loved how colorful he would be sometimes. You know what I mean? Like he would say things in ways that like you don't typically think about. Like the first song he made, what was it called? Like when he's like the first one.
The one with the cockroach?
Yeah, that one. Okay, so when that one came out,
I
memorized that whole song, and I was just like, oh my god, like
that was
his
really
wordplay
different.
is crazy.
That song was fucking crazy.
Exactly, it changed.
That video was.
Was
fucking crazy.
That he's so creative, and like I don't know if he gets enough credit for that, but I think that we would have so much fun just like creating together for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. Now you're pretty experienced, right? You've learned some stuff, especially traveling, networking, things like that. If you could go back, to the start of this and give yourself a piece of advice, what advice would you give yourself?
I'd probably tell myself, like to believe in myself for sure, because there was a time in the beginning where I was just like, what am I doing? Like even though I was still doing it, I would just didn't believe in it, you know, like believe in the fact that I could blow, you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at rapping and this is fun and I really enjoy it, this is what I want to do, but are people gonna like me? Like and then sometimes you get hate, you know what I mean? Like, and if you're successful in anything, getting any kind of shine, people like throw shade at you, and that shade in the beginning, it would kill me, you know what I mean? Now I'm a freaking rock. Now, now I'm just like, throw it at me, man. Like I can handle it. Matrix on you. Yeah, like that's. But it took time to become that, you know.
I think you have to develop that skin.
Yeah,
really what it
definitely. Like that. If I can give any advice to people who are like out there that want to do this, like you definitely have to have thick skin, because anytime you get any kind of like little shine or little like props, there's gonna be 10 people right there to push you down, because they probably want it themselves and they don't believe that they can do it, so they want to like shut you down because they feel like you don't deserve it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another one of the obstacles of starting something on your own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are gonna try to like no.
Yeah, and I think it's people's lack of achievement really rubs off on them wanting to sabotage your own, you know?
But you know what, there's that one thing that no one can beat, and that's the consistency. Even the haters can't beat consistency, because eventually they're going to give up, and if you're consistent enough, you're going to get through.
Grant Cardone, my favorite book ever is The 10X Rule by Grant, and you should read it too. It's like straight up for any single person trying to do anything and do it great. Mm-hmm. Like Grant Cardone talks about the stages of making it, and when you first do it, you know, you're scared, and then people start rejecting you and putting you down, and it's not gonna work and everything, and then you're still consistent with it, and then people start to talk shit and make fun of you and laugh, and then you start to pass that, and then they start to hate you, and then once you're consistent enough, fucking can't get enough of you. Like they start to love you, and that's really what happens. Like people just have this mentality of focusing on negative and putting somebody down. But Khalid's a perfect example. Like you could be sitting next to this kid in high school, and months later he's fucking, you know, like you're like, damn, I should have hung out with that kid more. It's like you never know, and you can't really judge a book by its cover.
You know what, like there was never a doubt in my mind that he was gonna make it, because I heard him when he was in high school and recording in the closet. One of his producers that I was friends with would show me his songs, and we were in the car and he's playing his songs. And I'm like, who's this? And he's like, oh, some kid in my high school. I thought he was lying to me. I was like, this is not no kid at your high school. This kid is not from El Paso.
Bro.
Like, you're lying to me the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And because he was so dope. Instantly I knew, I was like, this who has a dope voice. And then soon enough he dropped songs, and then dropped 2-3 songs, and all of a sudden he's getting signed for $1 million. And I was like, oh damn. But no surprise, you know what I mean? Because he was dope.
Bro, I got introduced to him like 2 months before I came to El Paso, and I remember being in Miami, and I was cruising, and it came up on iTunes, and I listened to it, and as soon as I heard his voice, the beat was dope. It was Location. And I was like, damn. And then I heard his voice, and I was like, who's this? And I saw him, and I was like, damn, this guy's fucking badass. Like, they don't make music like this anymore.
They really don't.
And then I came to El Paso, and I'm fucking chilling, and some guy's like, some artist is getting signed right now, and they were talking about Evander Grimm.
Yeah, Evander.
Evander's another artist too, and
Evander.
they were talking about him, and I was like, dang, I was fucking with his music. And then they're like, there's this other guy too, he's a singer, but they made it seem like maybe later he'll blow up or something. So I was like, I don't know who it is. And then later I find out it was that guy, and I'm like, that fucker's from El Paso? Like, that's fucking insane, because I don't know, I think he just set the tone for everyone, not just in the music industry, from El Paso. Like, yo, big things can come from here.
Overall,
yeah. For sure.
And
that anytime like someone's just like, oh no, Khalid is not, like, you know, like any shade, I'm just like, yo, this is someone that has shown nothing but love for this city, and he found it to be so amazing in his own way that he wanted to be a part of it. Inspirational, yeah. And that makes me feel good, because I'm just like, El Paso is dope, because someone who wasn't born here but is still a part of it
found inspiration
in
our city.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool.
I love that. I love Khalid's love for the city. Shout out to Evander Grimm. Evander is one of my very good homies.
Yeah,
for sure.
Evander's dope too.
So.
That's cool. It's really exciting. I'm telling you, like, this is an exciting time in El Paso.
Yeah.
It's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
Doing music right now, I mean, I'm sure it's changed just even over the last 5 years since I was doing music. What platforms are you marketing on, and what kind of tools do you have nowadays to really get your name out there?
I'm mostly operating off of Instagram just because I feel like it's the one place that people are going that like where I feel like my fan base is like daily, you know what I mean? Facebook is something that I still like post on, but I'm not so much like focused on it because I feel like Instagram is definitely like the mecca for people trying to blow up, you know what I mean? And when people like look you up, they go to your Instagram, check your followers and all that, like it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
For sure. And other than that, I just promote myself on the music streaming platforms. Like Spotify is like my go-to anytime someone asks me for like something. Like I give them my Spotify, or even YouTube.
As far as music,
as far
like
as
after
music.
Instagram and Spotify.
Yeah, for sure.
So where can people find you on Instagram, on Spotify?
On Instagram, I'm at Krystall Poppin. So Krystall, there's 2 L's, and then Poppin. I also have a Facebook page like that I'm also operating off of for people who don't have Instagram. Like that's another reason why I have Facebook for the people, because I don't want to leave anybody out. So Facebook, you can find me facebook.com/Krystall Poppin. And then if you want to see me like post funny things and just me kind of just being myself, you can add me on Twitter. It's Krystall Poppin, but with 2 N's at the end. Because someone has my actual name. Yeah, someone beat me, so it's just like I'll put 2 N's at the end. But yeah, that's usually where I'm at.
I'll put an end to this.
So, kind of wrapping up the podcast, what is next for you, and what projects do you have working on right now?
So basically, what's next is me and Dee are gonna be dropping new music all year. All of 18, we've been like hoarding and creating and just like getting ready, you know, kind of like building our arsenal.
Right.
We have interviews dropping, we have songs dropping, we have videos dropping, we have all kinds of things dropping, and I'm so excited. Like this is the year I've been waiting for all of my career.
That's cool.
Also, like the Honey Whip, we are trying to get it picked up by someone who like a network that can help us produce it. It's gonna be like what would you call it, like a docu-series on how our journey went and me and how I became successful, because there's no doubt in my mind that I am going to be successful.
So it's gonna be like a Netflix type.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that it goes on Netflix.
So we stopped dropping episodes, but we're still recording footage because we're thinking if we could sell it to a network and like Netflix or something, they're gonna choose their own format, and we're gonna have to abide by that format.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's why we're just kind of like, okay, let's.
So right now we're just shooting and gathering everything. Like, we're in El Paso, we're in Atlanta. Like, you know, capturing all.
Is that how Netflix works? Like, you could submit your own.
You can submit, but well, I mean, it's kind of like getting signed. You know what I mean? Okay. So like, if they like your stuff, they'll fund it or they'll buy it from you basically. But it's gotta be ready. Like when you come up to them, you gotta have the whole season, and then but they have their guidelines. Like it's gotta be shot with this camera, it's gotta be this length, it's gotta be this and this. So it's gotta fit their guidelines, and then you know they'll get behind it.
And put up the vlog.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Like as long as it's packaged, I guess they don't do the work. Like they just like
they just put it up.
Yeah, put it up for sure. So I'm hoping that the Honeywood gets picked up this year. That'll be another source of income. I'm dropping merch soon as well, and I'm gonna be consistently dropping merch, and that's another way that you can help support us on our journey and stuff. Just lots of stuff happening. Am I missing anything?
No, just video coming out on
Wednesday
for Timmy Tah.
This podcast is dropping on Wednesday.
No
nice.
Yeah, that's so
okay,
good.
Video dropping tonight. or
the video is dropping tonight
today.
For those of you listening in the future.
So that's gonna be cool. So I can throw this out there and be like, listen to the podcast after you watch the video.
And the merch coming soon.
This is the new merch happening.
That's cool shirt.
Show them the sleeve though.
I gotta show you all the sleeve. Your sleeve just says Krystall.
Yeah.
Dope.
So and coming. Yeah. So
that's pretty dope.
We're gonna have a bunch of these for sale on the
cool.
website.
Yeah. And
That's cool.
just projects. I want to like hold off on doing an actual like music project. I'm just gonna be doing singles for now because I feel like there's like that'll happen eventually. You know what I mean? When I like sit down and have a whole concept and have time to like develop that. But for now, I'm just like I have a bunch of singles that are just gonna come. Yeah. I was like, I didn't want to ask. You know what I mean? Like drop that.
Hippie's an alcoholic, right?
I'm low key.
I'm so rude.
I'm not an
I didn't even
alcoholic. I enjoy
She's an
alcohol.
undercover.
It's a difference.
She's an undercover alcoholic.
I
Enjoyer.
enjoy-
Yeah, alcoholics
alcohol.
don't enjoy it. You like it, so you're not an alcoholic.
See, there's a difference.
Do you not?
They don't.
There's a point where they don't like it.
Sure there is.
But anything else that I'm forgetting? Collaborations are happening. You know what I mean? Like, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and you'll be up to date on everything shows. Around springtime, we really want to do a Texas tour.
That's
Of course,
badass.
El Paso is going to be one of the biggest
For
shows.
sure.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Exciting to hear it. And I'm really excited for y'all's journey. Like, I've been following DS for a long time, and I see the Honey Whip. I see you guys moving, making some moves. So I do wish you, like, all the best of luck, and hope, this podcast can maybe reach some people that weren't too familiar with your music, because you're very talented, and I think that level that you have right now of belief and dedication in your craft is going to take you places. So definitely don't give up. But really excited for you to pump out and represent El Paso too. So it's really cool.
Also, shout out to 915 Tours because he shouted me out.
David, yeah,
David really.
Yeah, we talked about you. Podcast.
David is one of my best friends, and he's really the one that's been making this possible because I work for him for his company. So I'm on the road, and I'm taking care of a lot of the things for the company. So we work together, and that's one of the things that's made it possible for us to be on the road.
Yeah.
And be able to do the things that we can do.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to David.
Shout out David. David Garmin 915 Tours. You guys are trying to see some games, huh?
Yeah, the Cowboy games
right now.
Ooh.
They're out there right now in Dallas. Like, did they win? Did they play?
The games today?
Yeah, it's right now.
It's going on right
Today's Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Saturday game.
I don't watch TV.
I don't know, but I'm missing it.
Cool. So
I definitely want to put El Paso. Anytime anyone asks me, it's like I'm from El Paso, and the video that's about to drop is all El Paso. Like, we had to shoot it here.
That's badass.
We drove down here to shoot it, and I'm definitely representing. So I hope El Paso can represent for me as well.
Hell yeah! Make sure you guys follow Krystall Poppin, and check out her music. Check out, especially when you do come out here. Make sure you guys let us know. We'll definitely promote your tour too.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Cool deal. I like to end every single podcast with this question. Being a realtor, being from El Paso, I love the city. What are some of your favorite places to visit when you get home? You're out of town, you come back to El Paso. What's your favorite place to eat? Favorite place to, not the gas station either. No. What's your favorite place to eat here in El Paso? What's your favorite place to go hang out at? Mm-hmm. And what's your favorite place to go out at here in El Paso?
So eat for sure. I don't care what anyone says. I have to go to Chico's the first thing. And I'm someone that can eat Chico's every day, straight up.
Really?
Like, I love it that much.
She knows the phone number to
I know
Chico's.
I can say it's saved in my phone. I know the number to Chico's.
Why do you call Chico's? Hey, how you guys? Are you guys good? You're still there, right? You're still there?
Y'all are still there, right? No, I love Chico's for sure. But if it's like something else other than Chico's, Whataburger. But a more local place. Mundo's. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Mundo's. It's a little secret gem in the West Side. You're from the West Side, so you know. Yeah. So there's this Mexican restaurant called Mundo's. It's on Donovan, and they have the best menudo as far as like not in home, like in a restaurant. The best menudo for sure.
Really?
I love that place. Mundo's is my favorite, and even their chips and salsa, like. I'm putting on some game right now.
Good.
It's so
the rest
good.
of the food's good.
I love it.
And it's like a problem sometimes because every time we go out, like the next day, she's like, "Oh, menudo right now, Mundo." She don't want menudo from nowhere.
Nowhere else. I won't. I tried a lot of places, and y'all can school me if there's another place that I'm not like thinking about. But honestly, I don't like anywhere else but Mundo's.
Really?
Besides my mom.
Shout out, mom.
Shout out my mom. And so the other one was
To hang out at.
To hang out.
What's your hangout spot?
I love going to either Scenic or Trans Mountain, just because like when you're not in El Paso, you don't have that. You know?
Mountains are very rare, huh?
Yeah.
That's what I miss too.
Yeah, and even like the lights, like just being up there and like in peacefulness and like, you know, maybe like take a little drink or something, you know, just chilling up there and seeing it, it makes you really like think like, wow, like I'm out there, but I'm here.
But when we
I'm
actually
back,
hang out
you
is
know?
downtown. Like we're
I mean, as far as going out, we go downtown.
Going out. So what's your favorite going out spot here?
It changes all the time, I think, because the bars I used to go to, like Barfly, you know,
Bar trends change out
it
here in
changes
El
all the
Paso.
time, you know what I mean? But during this time that we were here, we went to, what was the first place? The one with Kitana. It was we saw Ziggy there.
Sister Esther.
Sister Esther. Okay, Sister Esther was dope. Like
Sister was cool.
that used to be Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Oh man, that place is cool. I love it. I turned up there. And then we also went to Born and Raised. That place was cool. That was my first time there too. I haven't been to a lot of the new spots. I've been out of town for a long time. But yeah, those places for sure. So
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
El Paso's fun.
El Paso's definitely fun.
For those of you that don't know, El Paso knows.
Oh, hey, did you see the new El Paso tourist video going on?
No.
It is nice. Like I'll send you the link, and it's like the city of El Paso. I just hired someone to do a visit El Paso video, but
Oh, I actually I caught behind the scenes one day when they were doing the metro scene.
Okay. Man,
Yeah.
the video came on nice.
Nice.
I did. I was like, behind the scene. They're doing it for CBS, I think. It was a commercial for CBS.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe
That's
it's a
cool.
different commercial, but yeah, they were doing a commercial here for CBS and they were on the metro.
Yeah, but
Nice, that's cool.
Like it really shows El Paso from like angles not be seen before, and it looks dope. So
Really?
yeah, you should definitely like check
That's
that out.
badass. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Well, again, thank you guys so much for being on the show, episode number 29. Super excited we're almost at the 30s. Well, actually, in 30 minutes, we're going to be in the 30s.
Nice.
We're doing another episode. But really excited for you guys to be on. Appreciate you and best of luck in your journey. Where's the Honey Whip taking you guys next?
Next, we're gonna hit. Besides Atlanta, Nashville, we're bouncing back and forth right there. We're gonna hit Florida, I think. Like our goal is to hit New York, but it has to warm up a little bit. It's really cold out there right now. So once it's warm, we're going straight to New York and we're just gonna tear it up.
So Florida, New York.
Florida,
Make sure
New
you
York.
guys keep an eye out for the Honey Whip.
Yeah.
And make sure you guys tune in every single Wednesday where we have entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers just like Krystall Poppin and DS. Make sure you guys tune in and check out the full episode. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.